Do you know, it's actually quite satisfying pulling away. It's just this like weird electrical noise and you just kind of cruise along. This is the Mercedes EQA, the electric version of the popular GLA. Now, in the UK, the EQA is available in 3 different trim lines. There's the 250, which has 187 horsepower with front-wheel drive, the 300 4MATIC with 225 horsepower, and then you've got the top spec 350 with 350 brake horsepower. The 2 top specs both come with Mercedes' impressive 4-wheel drive system, which works really well with the instant power you get from these electric engines. In this video today, we're going to be taking a close look at the 250 model. So first up, before we drive, let's take a good look at the outside of the car. The EQA inherits the muscular and aggressive looks of the GLA, but there's some differences here to help it stand out as the electric model. Alongside here, you get these unique AQA badges set in blue on gloss black. Then here at the front, we have a whole new grille. Since the standard grille is not required, Mercedes have created this attractive gloss black grille for their EV models. The simplistic gloss black helps to give the car a nice futuristic look. Around the back here is the biggest change with the full wraparound light strip. This all adds to the futuristic EV look and is becoming a staple for Mercedes EQ range. The futuristic look then continues inside the car. It's very similar to the regular GLA, and that's not a bad thing at all. Anyone who's sat in the new GLA or A-Class will find the EQA's cabin feels instantly familiar, with a similar dual screen layout and center console design. A bonus here with the EQ models is you get a full spec screen as standard, unlike the GLA, which without a hefty optional bundle comes with a much smaller screen. You also get Mercedes MBUX infotainment system, which we know and love. Below this sits a set of turbine style air vents, each with ambient lighting built in. Overall, the interior is a great place to be and everything feels nice to the touch. Now let's talk about the space and practicality. Given that there's had to be some sacrifices for this model with the batteries, and all the additional electrical components, it's still pretty spacious here in the back. I mean, I'm comfortable, I've got plenty of room. This driver's seat is in my regular driving position, got plenty of leg room. The battery apparently is down here, which does lift the seats up a little bit, but I'm still comfortable and there's still plenty of room to work around. I mean, you've got a middle seat as well with plenty of space. Yeah, it's pretty good for a GLA. I mean, the GLA is not the biggest Mercedes, and in its electrical version, it's still super practical. Even though the GLA is a family-focused car, it is in the compact SUV segment, so it's never really had the biggest boot. But let's check it out and open it and see what the EQA has to offer. So if we press the Mercedes badge here, the boot electronically opens up, as you would expect in an electric car. So how big is the boot? Well, let's find out. I can just about fit in here. Yeah, relatively comfortable, not a huge amount of headroom. The problem with the EQ version is it's solid here. You can't open this up. There's none of that additional storage that you'd normally get in a petrol car, for example. But overall though, it's not the biggest boot in the world, but it's not the smallest boot either. This would be pretty handy. I mean, you could fit a pushchair in here, a suitcase. This would be perfectly fine for a small family. The GLA comes with a 495 litre boot, while the EQA is downsized to 340 litres. This is due to the additional electrical components taking up some of the space. Okay, so driving the EQA. My first experience in an electric car coming from an AMG, so quite the leap. This is going to be an interesting review. This is the AMG line, so it's got the larger wheels and tougher suspension normally, so not the best comfort, but here we go. Wow, it's got a bit of power to it. All right, let's give this car a proper test now. Let's pop it into sport mode. So comfort, sport, here we go. Whoa, okay. It doesn't feel very stable actually. I could feel the car, like it felt almost like it was, I think because it shoots the power so quickly to the front wheels, you almost feel them kind of lose control a little bit. It's quite scary actually. Yeah, it's pretty solid, but Yeah, and did you hear, I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but there's this little electric whistle. I can't tell if I like it or not yet. It kind of goes through your ears. I mean, to be fair, the road is wet and it is raining as well, so probably not a good idea to just floor it in sport mode, but you know, we're testing these cars out. But yeah, overall, first impressions, acceleration is pretty good, considering this is only 200 brake horsepower, so I can only imagine what those 500, 600 brake horsepower electric cars are like. They must feel absolutely insane. So with the sport mode, it really amps the throttle response. I noticed in comfort mode it was a little bit more easy and it kind of slowly built up the speed, whereas sport mode you touch the throttle and you just zoom. The steering is a little bit more tighter now we're in sport mode, which I prefer, but you know, this is a family car. You know, comfort mode is going to be great with some light steering, going around towns, maneuvering and parking, so the light steering is good as well. So yeah, just like all the versions of the new A-Class, you know, the CLA class, the GLA class, you get these amazing screens, and it really is a nice place to be. I mean, the seats are really comfortable, I feel nice and high up on the road, the steering wheel feels great, it's nice and chunky, it's leather. It's a very comfortable car. You could happily go on a nice long journey in this car, and yeah, now I'm in eco mode, it just feels like an absolute cruising beast. Do you know, it's actually quite satisfying pulling away. It's just this like weird electrical noise and you just kind of cruise along. It's quite nice when you do it slowly. You just sort of glide along the road. It's hard to explain if you've never driven an electric car before, and you get this kind of little sci-fi whoosh noise, and I don't know if that's just the natural noise of these batteries and these engines, or if it's something that's artificially pumped into the cabin. It's an interesting noise to say the least. It potentially could become annoying over time, but wow, you know. So yeah, so we're just going carefully now, but let's pop it back in Sport Plus. Well, Sport Plus, it's only got Sport mode, it doesn't have Sport Plus. Jeez, the drive modes are so different in this car. So Sport is just crazy. The throttle response changes, so you're just constantly, yeah, it's, no matter what you do, you get knocked in the back of your seat in Sport mode, so very sporty in Sport mode. Now, if we go down to Comfort mode now it's a little bit more calm, but the power delivery is still there, it's just a little softer, and the car just feels, the steering's a bit looser and the car just feels a little bit more softer on the road. It's absorbing these bumps quite well because this isn't the nicest of roads. And then when you go down to Eco, it really reduces the power. Like, I've slowed down significantly and I haven't adjusted my throttle at all. It feels very slow, and I think that's, you know, that's the difference between a petrol eco mode and a battery eco mode, I guess. I mean, it can really reduce the power to save a lot of energy in the battery. So this mode is probably a mode, like I say, you'd use if you were cruising very slowly, or if you really wanted to conserve battery because you were running low and you were far away from a charge point. It's also handy going through a village here because the speed limit here is 30 miles per hour, sometimes 20 if there's a school. And actually, it's so easy to maintain 30 miles an hour in eco mode because the car doesn't feel like it can really go that much faster. I mean, I'm sure it can, but it's very happily going along 25 right now. So it doesn't make me smile like the AMG, of course, but it is pretty fun, and it's a very different driving experience. I mean, if you were to daily drive one of these and use it as a commute to work, you know, and you owned an AMG alongside it, it could be a really good car. And a long trip, I imagine, in this, you know, if you can keep the range and charge midway, would be pretty satisfying. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in buying the EQB when it comes out for Becky. That would be Becky's car plus our family car, and it'd be quite a nice car to review on the channel as well. Having the CLA 45S, the crazy AMG, next to an EQB, I mean, what a lineup. So there we have it, guys. That is the Mercedes EQA, a capable car in the Mercedes EQ lineup. So could the AQE be the new ABAUTO family car? Now, it would look really nice alongside the AMG, but I think I'm going to wait for the EQB, which is coming out next year, and you may want to consider that too. The EQB is another new Mercedes electric SUV scheduled to arrive next year. Based on the GLB, this will offer a much larger boot and 7-seating, making it possibly one of the best family electric SUVs on the market. It looks to offer everything the EQA has, while adding much more space and practicality, fixing all those issues. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button because it always helps me and the channel out. And if you guys have been watching my videos and enjoying them and you want to help support the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate all my subscribers. Thank you all so much, and thank you all so much again for watching. I'll see you next time.